Okay, so now let's talk about how to do some basic programming with your iPad. Okay, so you can see right down here at the bottom row, you can see the one called programming. You see kind of the Lego education icon on it. It's right there in the bottom near the middle. I'm just going to go ahead and tap that and open that up. And you can see it opens up into a lobby, okay? What we want to do down at the bottom here, we want to tap on New Program. Okay, so there's a new one. Now, the first thing we want to do is, as per the rules of SumoBot, is we need to put a little wait command at the beginning of everything. So I'm just going to add this guy right here. I'm going to add that to the beginning, tap on the 1 right there, and we're going to do a 5-second wait. Okay, that makes our program legal. It also gives us one block, so now we can actually go ahead and name this program. So I'm going to tap the little house icon in the top left, go back to the lobby, and you can see it's down there at the bottom. It's called Program. Well, that's a lousy name for it because I'll lose it with everybody else's program that puts it on the robot. So I'm just going to tap on the actual word program underneath the icon there, and it's going to allow me to rename it. Now, what you want to do is you want to put your first name or your initials or something so you can find again and you know it's yours. My name is Charles Bradley Flickinger, so I'm going to put CBF for Charles Bradley Flickinger, and I'm going to call this Pro 1. So I know it's Program 1. So, and also I'll be able to find it really easy because they're my initials. And I'm going to tap on Done. So now at the bottom you can see I have CBF Pro 1. Tap on that. Let's open that up again. And while I'm talking here, I'm going to go start up the actual robot itself so that we can get some programming onto it. So just give me a second. Okay, so I've got the robot. It's starting up. And let's continue with our program here. Okay, so now we've got a 5-second, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this loop icon right down here. I'm in the yellow section, or orange section again. I'm going to drag that up there, and now we have this loop when you can see the little infinity symbol there, and it's going to just run forever and ever and ever. So that's what we want it to do. We want this program to keep running until we actually stop the robot. Okay, so that's the next thing you need to do. And then I'm going to, oh, there's the robot's all started up. Now I'm going to drag the one next to it here, which is another loop, but it's a loop that uses a sensor, and I'm going to put that on the inside of our first loop, okay? And it's programmed right now for a touch sensor. So I'm going to tap on that box that has the little icon for the touch sensor, and I'm going to change that to a color sensor, and I want it to compare, okay? And I want it to compare reflected light intensity, okay? So it's comparing reflected light. So it's going to shine a light down, it's going to take a reading on whether that surface is white or it's black, and then it's going to do something accordingly, okay? And okay, so I'm just going to tap outside of that. This 4 that you see right there is what we want it to have, and then right next to it is 50. That's a little high, so I'm going to go ahead and tap on that and change that to 20. So basically anything less than 20 is what this thing's going to run, okay? Anything less than 20 is what's going to run on this program that we have going here. Okay, so let's also make sure, do you see the number 3 there? That is what port your color sensor is plugged into. On my robot, it's in port 4, so you will need to change it. Now, if you leave it in port 3, you just make sure to plug it into port 3, but mine is actually plugged into port 4. So now it's saying anything less than 20, which is really black. Black usually registers as a 7 or 8 on the meter, and then the whiteboard usually measures as 80, okay? It's reflecting 80% of the light, where black, it only reflects 7 or 8% of the light. So it says anything less than 20, then you're going to do this with the little check mark. You see the little check mark along the top edge there. So let's tell it what to do. So first off, under the green tabs here, I'm going to grab this one with the 2 sliders on it, and I'm going to say the first thing we want it to do, and I'm going to tap right there on the little icon itself with the green sliders. I'm going to say off. So when you detect black, I want you to stop, basically. Stop moving, okay? So that's what we've told it to do now. And then what else do we do? Well, I drag another one up and I put it right behind it, and then I say it, well, I want you to back up. So I'm going to tap on the 50, and I'm going to change that, tap on the little dots there, so I can actually have the keypad. I'm going to say minus 50, that power. So it's going to back up at about half speed, okay? And that's on the one motor, and then I'm going to tell it, yeah, we're also going to back up minus 50 on the other motor, so it goes straight back for one rotation, and then stop. That's what those 4 little boxes are telling it to do. And then I'm going to drag up one more, and I'm going to put it after it. Okay, so now you can see where we're at. Okay, then I'm going to tell it, I want you now to spin at full speed. So I'm going to tell just the B motor, I want it to go at -100, and the motor that's attached to C, I'm going to tell it to go at forward at, oops, that's a little too high, 100. Okay, so it's basically going to spin in one place, okay, for one rotation, and then stop, and then that's good. Okay, so that's where we need to be for that side of the programming. Now, for the rest of the time, do you see how there is a little X above everything? There's a check mark and an X up there. I'm going to tap on that X because it's now going to say, well, hey, that you just told me what to do if it ever is less than 20% reflecting. What do I do the regular time where it's actually good? Okay, so that's what you got to tell the X side of things. So I'm going to just move my, it's called tank, but move this one up here again, this controller here. And I want it basically just to run at 100 speed all the time. So I'm just going to say, tap on the icon, say I want you just to be on. Basically, it's going to run forever at 100 speed. So 100% of speed. So that's what I'm going to do here, 100% of speed. Okay, so now my programming is complete. So basically we say, if this is not true, if it is not less than 20%, then you're going to run this side. Just run forward at 100%. Okay. If it is true, then you're going to stop. You're going to back up at slow speed, one rotation, and then you're going to spin really quickly, and then it just loops again. Then it's going to go back to here. So if it's detecting white, then it's going to just keep doing this one here, just driving at 100%. So there we have our programming for our robot. So now let's get this to our robot. So I'm going to tap on the top right icon where the little icon is for the actual brick. And it tells me this is the steps I need to do to connect to my brick. I've already done that on my brick, but you might need to go to settings and make sure those 3 check marks on visibility, Bluetooth, and iPhone, iPad, iPod are all checked off. I've already done that, so I can just go and tap on connect. And it's looking for this robot here. Come on, baby. Okay, so that takes about 15 seconds. And that's the one I want, so I'm just going to go ahead and tap on that. And then on the screen of the robot, I've got to look on that. And I think since I've connected in the past, we're connected. But if it's the first time you're connecting to the robot, on the screen of the robot, you're going to have to say accept or yes or whatever it's going to ask you about. Hey, do you really want to connect to that iPad? So everything's good. I can now press in the top right-hand corner the down arrow to download it. It's now downloading the file. There, you just heard it. And it's now on the screen. And now I can run the program itself. Okay, so basically that's how to program your very first basic run on the iPad for the robot. Okay, and actually if we look down at the bottom right, you will see the measuring things. You see that it's in that number 4, that's where the light reflector is. I'm getting an 8 because this is on a dark blue table. Okay, so if I hold it up against something white, I get, above, well, at least it's above, see 80. White is usually 80, something around that. So anyhow, that just shows you what it's reflecting at, and that's how to program it. So have fun.